Hello, everyone. This is Gabby at English Staples. Welcome. In today's lesson, I'll walk you through an easy to use cheat sheet for the 8 parts of speech in English. We'll focus on 1. The job of each part of speech. 2. Questions used to identify the parts of speech in sentences. 3. We look at some quick clues to recognize the parts of speech in sentences. And 4. How they are used in sentence examples. We'll finish off the lesson with a 17-question practice exercise so you can check your understanding of the lesson. Let's get started. So when we talk about parts of speech, what are we talking about? Well, they are categories of words that describe the functions that words play in a sentence. Understanding the different parts of speech can help a person form correct sentences grammatically. The 8 parts of speech in English are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Noun is the name for a person, a place, a thing, an animal, or an idea. Some quick clues about noun. When we say clues, what do we mean? We mean suggestions, or hints, or tips, or ideas. Noun can use the articles a, an, or the. For example, I see a big book and an eraser on the desk, like here. A book, an eraser, the desk. All these are singular, meaning one. One book, one eraser, one desk. Nouns can be plural. The noun ends with an S, ES, or IES. For example, I see books. Look at this desk. I see books, erasers, peaches, and cherries. So these are all plurals that end with S, ES, or IES. And this word we're saying is plural, more than one. So we have a book, plural, books. An eraser, plural, erasers. Peach, a peach, a peach. And because it ends with CH, the word ends with C and H, we have to add ES to make it plural. And the word cherry ends with a Y. The Y changes to an I, and then we add ES. Cherries. Nouns can show possessive, either apostrophe and S, or S and apostrophe. For example, my teacher's desk is new. This is one teacher, and her desk is new. She possesses the desk. The desk belongs to her. Plural would be the teachers, apostrophe on the outside. Desks are old. What this is really saying is the desk of the teacher or the desks of the teachers. Let me show you how that's converted. Teacher's desk or teacher's desk, these are by far more popular than this. This is like the long way of saying it. It's not very common at all. The desks of the teacher. So what we do is we cross out the desk of, and then we put the apostrophe here. Because it's plural, the apostrophe goes on the outside. And then the teacher's desks. So desks come between teachers and are. So if you look at this, the teacher's desks are old. It's the same. The teacher's desks are old. However, the difference here is this is the beginning of the sentence, so we must have capital T. See that? That's how you make the conversion. To identify nouns in a passage, if you're reading, you need to ask the question, who, what, where, whose, and the answer is going to be a noun. Gabby is our teacher. She lives in Florida. She likes dogs, scarves, and education. This word, scarves, these are scarves, right? You have singular, a scarf. That's singular. Plural, scarves. The F turns into a V and then you add ES. Scarves. Let's discover the nouns in these three sentences. Who is our teacher? Gabby is our teacher. So the response is going to be Gabby. Gabby. Next sentence. What is Gabby? What is Gabby? Gabby is our teacher. So the answer is going to be teacher. So far we've seen Gabby and teacher. They're both nouns. Let's ask another question. Where does Gabby live? Where does Gabby live? She lives in Florida. So the answer here is Florida. So Florida is a place. It's a noun. See that? Teacher is a person. Florida is a place. Gabby is the name of the person. What does she like? What does she like? She likes dogs, scarves, and education. So we can write that here. We can also ask the question whose. Whose desk is new? So teacher's desk is new. Teachers. So teachers. That's the possessive. Whose, ask about the possessive. Proper nouns. When nouns begin with capital letters, which are big letters or uppercase letters, like G for Gabby, F for Florida. This is the name of a person. This is the name of a place. So they start with a capital letter. The other nouns, like teacher, dogs, scarves, education, Those are common nouns, and they start with common letters, small letters, or lowercase letters. Let's look at the second part of speech. It's called a pronoun. And what is the job of the pronoun? It replaces a noun. Some clues about pronouns. Let's look at some clues. And we said clues were suggestions, hints, tips, ideas. Pronoun refers back to a noun. For example, Maria is my neighbor. She is my neighbor. So we're repeating the same sentence, but we just change Maria to she. Who is a neighbor? It's a person who lives nearby or next door. That's a neighbor. Pronoun avoids repetition of nouns. I lost my keys. I can't find them. Keys in this sentence is an object. So this is the object, noun. Its counterpart is going to be the object pronoun. See, it's under the object pronoun. Pronouns can show possession. Okay, so now we're going to focus on this column. Let's see. Are those keys yours? No, they aren't mine. They are hers. Possessive language, showing that the keys belong to someone, shows ownership. So let's look at this little story now and the questions that we would ask. For pronoun, the questions we would ask: who, what? Let's look at some questions. Who can't find them? She can't find them. So it's going to be she. Because who ask about people. Next question. Can't find what? Can't find them. So we're going to have them. One more question here. What aren't in it? They aren't in it. We're using they instead of the keys, right? The keys. So it's they. They aren't in what? They aren't in it, right? It. Gabby lost the keys. She can't find them. We use she instead of Gabby. We use them instead of keys. She and them are pronouns. The keys aren't in her bag. They aren't in it. They for keys, it is for the bag. Let's look at the third part of speech, verb. What's the job of the verb? It shows action, state, or non-action. And for non-action, we have some categories: emotion, possession, preference, mental. Action verbs. Something external happens. What do we mean by external? It means something that's visible. For example, verbs like run, dance, jump, cook, eat, walk, read. Those are called action verbs. Then we have stative verb or linking verb. For example, appear, seem, become, be. With these verbs, there's no action, there is no event, nothing happens. They describe a state or a condition. We have non-action verbs. They show when an internal experience happens. Internal here means in the mind or in your heart or in your soul or in your spirit. It's just something that you cannot see. And examples of those verbs would be like love, hate, regret, miss, possess, have, belong, prefer, want, hope, agree, believe, understand. These are some common non-action verbs. Some quick clues about verbs. Verbs change tense. For example, Abe sings in the shower. Abe sang in the shower. So when we talk about tense, we're talking about time. He sings, and in the past, he sang. Verbs change with subject. For example, he sings in the shower. He is third person, one person. He. He sings. They, more than one person, plural, sing in the shower. So verbs change with subject. Verbs change with time. Verbs include forms of be. For example, I am tired. I am tired. If it's he, a third person, it's going to be is tired. He is tired. She is tired. Or if it's more than one person, we are tired. They are tired. Verbs can be non-action. For example, Abe has a beautiful voice. He has, because it's one person, it's has, and it's possession. He likes to sing. So here, that's an emotion. He likes to sing. If you need to identify verbs in a sentence or in a passage that you're reading, you'd ask these questions. What happens? Or what is? So let's look at a few sentences. She cries every day. So looking at this, we're going to ask the question, what happens? Looking at the sentence, what happens? Is there an action? Yes, there is an action. And the action here is cries. She cries every day. So here would have the word cries. Let's look at another sentence. She misses her son. That's the reason why she cries. Is there an action here? What happens? Is there something external happening here? She misses her son. Is there an external action? Is there no action? Or is there an internal experience happening? There's nothing external happening here, right? She misses her son. There's nothing external happening. We can't say that there is no action because she is doing something, but it's internal. It's an internal thing that's happening. And what is that internal thing? She misses. She misses. It's internal. It's emotional. So it's misses. That's the verb. Let's look at another sentence. Is there an action, an external action? Is there no action, no event? Or is there an internal experience happening here? She is. So we see this is from be. So that is telling us that it is a state. She's in a certain. So the question to ask is, what is? And the answer is going to be is. So in true sense, the question that you're really asking is, what is true? Or better yet, what is the situation? The situation is. That's the state she's in. She is sad. That's her condition. She's in sadness. Let's look at one more sentence. She hopes to see him soon. So, in this one, what are we going to ask here? Is there an action? Is there something external happening here? Is there no action? Or is there an internal experience happening here? She hopes to see him soon. Well, there is no action. There's no event. There's nothing external happening here. What is happening here is something. She's having an internal experience. She hopes, and hopes fall under preference. What happens? That's the question would ask. It would be hopes is what happened. Hopes. Adjective. And what's the job of the adjective? It describes nouns or what the nouns refer to, like pronouns. Or maybe it's a noun phrase. Some quick clues about adjectives. Adjective comes before a noun. She bought a red dress. So the adjective is red and it describes dress. Adjective also comes after nouns. For example, her dress is red. Red dress. Do you see that? Her dress is red. We have possessive adjectives too. Some possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, our, their. Judy borrowed my jewelry that matched her handbag and shoes. This is Judy's handbag, and these are her shoes. But she borrowed my jewelry, my necklace, and my earrings. What's the adjective here? It's possessive, my. My jewelry. It belongs to me. And her handbag and shoes. Her. So those are possessive adjectives. They come right before the noun. Adjectives describe nouns and sometimes pronouns that act like adjectives. For example, she likes the red dress. I prefer the green one. Instead of dress, I can use the pronoun one. And green describes one, the green dress. Do you see that? She likes the red dress. Red describes dress. I prefer the green one. So green describes one, which is the pronoun for dress. Adjective asks the questions: how many? What kind? Whose? Which one? To identify adjectives, these are questions you can ask. Mia bought 24 juicy Shalon cherries. Her cherries are organic. The dark red ones are very sweet and crunchy. How many cherries did Mia buy? 24. Second question. What kind of cherries did Mia buy? Juicy Shalon. Whose cherries are they? Who owns the cherries? Her cherries. They are, in fact, from Mia. Mia is a noun, so that's not what we're looking for. We're working on adjectives. Possession. Her cherries. Whose cherries? They are her cherries. Do you see that? Let's ask another question. What kind of cherries are they? Organic. Which ones are very sweet and crunchy? The dark red ones. Dark red. What kind of cherries are they? They are sweet and crunchy. Do you see that? Let's look at the fifth part of speech, adverb. What's the job of the adverb? It describes or modifies a verb, an adjective, another adverb, or a sentence. Let's look at some quick clues. Adverbs often end in ly. Notice I said often, not always, because there are adverbs that do not end with ly, but there are lots of adverbs that end with ly. Let's look at an example. Sadly, strays get hurt. What are strays? Strays are animals that don't have a home or an owner. Adverbs offer flexible position. For example, strays get hurt sadly. So if you look at these two sentences, the sadly is at the beginning, sadly, and then it has a comma, and then the rest of the sentence. And here we see sadly at the end. And sometimes it can be in the middle, where you could say strays sadly get hurt. So it can be at the beginning of the sentence, it can be in the middle of the sentence, and it can be at the end of the sentence. Adverbs can describe sentences. For example, sadly, comma, strays get hurt very often. Here we have sadly at the beginning of the sentence. This is telling us it could be a fact that the speaker is saying, or it could be the speaker's opinion. Who is the speaker? The person who is speaking. The person who says, sadly, strays get hurt very often. In this case, I would say it's a fact. It is true that strays get hurt very often. And this is pretty much telling you how the speaker feels. They're sad about the situation, sadly. The clues include types of adverbs: adverb of time, adverb of place, adverb of manner, adverb of degree, adverb of frequency, sentence adverb, and interrogative adverb. The questions that would ask: how, when, where, how often, to what extent. To what extent means to what degree. Last night, Greg accidentally hit a stray dog while driving on the bridge. He was really upset. Sadly, strays get hurt very often. How can society stop these mishaps? Mishaps are accidents. Let's ask some questions. Let's identify the adverbs. How did Greg hit the dog? Greg accidentally hit a stray dog. So how? Accidentally. Let's ask another question. When did he hit the dog? Last night, Greg accidentally hit a stray dog. So it's last night. Another question. Where did he hit the dog? So it says last night Greg accidentally hit a stray dog while driving on the bridge. On the bridge. Where? On the bridge. That's where he hit the dog. This is a prepositional phrase. It's prepositional because the first word in this phrase is on. On is a preposition. And because it's a prepositional phrase that is acting like an adverb, telling us where the dog got hit. To what extent was he upset? He was really upset. Really. To what extent? To what degree was he really? How often do strays get hurt? How often? Sadly, strays get hurt very often. So, how often? Very. How do strays get hurt very often? How do strays get hurt very often? Here. Sadly. Sadly, strays get hurt very often. In what way can society stop the mishaps, the accidents? How? In what way? How? Let's look at our little story here. Look how the job of the adverb applies to it. Adverb describes or modifies a verb, and we see that happening here with accidentally hit. The verb is hit, and accidentally is describing hit. Adverb describes or modifies an adjective. Adjective here is upset. So we have really upset. So there's the really just before the word upset. Adverb describes or modifies another adverb. We see that here very often. Often is an adverb of frequency. Here we have the sentence, how can society stop these mishaps? This is an interrogative. How? It's asking a question. In this case, how is modifying the verb phrase can stop. Can is the auxiliary, and this is the main verb, stop. So together they make the verb phrase, and that's what how is modifying. Sadly is modifying the whole sentence. So see, we have adverb modifies a sentence. Sadly, strays get hurt very often. Sadly is modifying the entire sentence. It's the first word in the sentence, followed by a comma, and then it's pretty much telling us the speaker's feeling towards the fact that strays get hurt very often. So, sadly is modifying the entire sentence. On the bridge is in fact a prepositional phrase, but it is acting as an adverb and it is modifying driving, the verb driving. And you might say, but driving by itself is not a verb. But this sentence is actually saying that Greg accidentally hit a stray dog while he was driving. That's what is implied here. While he was driving, which is verb. This phrase is modifying driving. See that? Last night. What is last night modifying here? Last night is modifying hit as well. Because logically, what this sentence is actually saying is that Greg hit a stray dog last night. That's what this is logically saying. So last night is therefore modifying the verb hit. This is the adverb summary. Pretty much tells us the job of the adverb here, that it describes, modifies a verb, adjective, another adverb or a sentence. We have our story here, and we have the breakdown of the adverb types here. Adverb of time. The question is when? Answer, last night. Adverb of manner, how, accidentally. Adverb of place, where, on the bridge. Do you see this? Adverb of degree, to what extent or to what degree. Really. Adverb of frequency, how often, very often. Sentence adverb, sadly, strays get hurt very often. How is the speaker being? Sadly. Interrogative adverb, in what way? How? How can society stop these mishaps? In what way? How? This is a summary of adverb. Preposition. So what's the job of the preposition? It's a word or phrase that shows relationship between nouns or pronouns and other parts of the sentence. In, on, at, under, into, about, with, next to. These are just a few prepositions. Let's look at some quick clues. Followed by a noun or pronoun. For example, we danced under the stars, or we danced under them. Right after the preposition under, we have stars, which is the noun, or them, which is the pronoun. See that? Preposition begins a prepositional phrase. On my computer, over the waterfalls. On, over. Types of preposition, we have preposition of time, preposition of manner, preposition of place, location, preposition of movement, direction. Preposition takes the questions how, when, where, what. What's our story? In 2021, I wrote my first puzzle book in English and Jamaican patois on my computer. The word search puzzle book collection is about the history and culture of Jamaica. I wrote it with love and pride. The books are available for sale on Amazon. My first set of puzzle books. How did I write my first puzzle book? In. Preposition is going to be in. In English and Jamaica patois. Another question. How did I write it? With love and pride. So the word is going to be with. When did I write my book? In 2021. In. Where did I write my first book? Where? On. On my computer. Let's continue. What is the collection related to? About. It's about the history and culture of Jamaica. About. What place do the history and culture belong? Of. Of Jamaica. So those prepositions are in, with, in, on, about, of. Here's an interesting thing to note. So we said that in actually answers how, which is manner. In also answers when, which is time. So as you can see, some prepositions can be used in different categories. What is the purpose of their availability? For. For sale. So the preposition is for. Where are the books available? On. On Amazon. Let's look at the seventh part of speech, conjunction. When I hear the word conjunction, I think of a chain. I also think of the links. The reason why I think about chain is because of the job that the conjunction does. The conjunction joins or links other words and phrases or clauses. It's like a connector, right? All these things are connected, and we'll see how that works shortly. Some common conjunctions: until, unless, however, therefore, whereas, and then we have some pairs that work together, like whether or, either or, not only, but also. And there are many more. Some quick clues: there are three types of conjunctions. One, coordinating conjunction, and that joins elements of the same type. Here are the coordinating conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Look at the first letter of each. They actually form the word fanboys. So this is one way you can easily remember the conjunctions that fall under coordinating. Let's explore these elements of the same type. Let's look at this example. He buys honey, comma, bread, comma, and cheese. So this is a list of things that he buys. The conjunction here is and from this group, and it's joining honey, bread, cheese. They are all nouns. And so noun is this element that we're talking about, element of the same type. Now we could say he buys honey, bread, and mouse traps, and it would still be okay because they're all nouns. Or I could say honey, bread, and a mousetrap. So there would have a determiner and mousetrap, which would form a noun phrase. So it would still qualify because it's noun, noun, noun. It's okay. Let's look at another example. What will you do? Sing or dance? So here we have or, which is the conjunction over here, or. This is a verb. This is a verb. So that's okay because they're both verbs. Subordinating conjunction joins dependent clauses to independent clauses. And some examples like while, since, once, and there are others. This is just to name a few. When we look at this, we have two clauses here. One clause here and one clause here. So a clause has a subject plus a verb, and whatever comes after the verb along with whatever comes after it, we call it a predicate. So we have a subject plus a predicate. The same thing in this clause. We have a subject, we, the verb went, and then went for a walk is the predicate, right? So that's subject plus predicate. That's what that word looks like, predicate. So we have two clauses here, and they are pretty much joined by the word after. After is a conjunction. But one of the things we can say about conjunction is that it can come at the beginning of the sentence or it could be in the middle. We could say, we went for a walk after we ate dinner. You see that? So it could also fall in the middle of the sentence. We went for a walk after we ate dinner. Look at this. After we ate dinner is not a complete thought. Because if I say to you, after we ate dinner, you're going to be waiting to see, okay, what happens after you ate dinner. So it's an incomplete thought. It cannot stand on its own. So this is what we call a dependent clause. If you don't have this word and we say, we ate dinner, would that be okay? Absolutely. You're making a statement. It would be okay. But whenever you add a conjunction before the clause, it becomes dependent. It cannot stand alone. This is what those words look like. Stand alone. We went for a walk. That's okay. That can stand alone. It makes sense. So you have a dependent clause plus an independent clause. That's what this is. We returned early because it was hot. We returned early. I could say that. Complete thought, complete idea. It can stand alone. Here we have a subject and we also have a predicate. Was hot. But because we have the word because in front of it, it now becomes dependent. We have an independent clause and a dependent clause, and they are joined together by the conjunction. We could have this part going first. Because it was hot, we returned early. That would be an okay sentence too. But it doesn't change the fact that this is a dependent clause and this is independent. Correlative conjunction is a pair of words that links parts of the sentence to make it parallel. And examples, here's a pair of words, both and We have an ellipsis here, which means some words go between there. Neither, nor, rather, than. Let's see how we can use these correlative conjunctions in sentences. He likes both singing and dancing. So we're using both and. So it's absolutely necessary if you're going to use this kind of conjunction that you use both words. And it's also absolutely necessary that whatever you're going to use with these words, that the sentence is balanced. It's parallel. For example, look at this. Both singing and dancing. So here we are using a gerund and another gerund. And that word I'm saying looks like this. We cannot say he likes both singing and to dance, which is an infinitive. We cannot say that because then the sentence would not be balanced. It would not be parallel. We could have to sing and to dance. That would be okay. The sentence would be parallel if we have to sing and to dance. Let's look at another example. I have time for neither your nonsense nor his. I'd rather be home than be here. Nonsense is foolishness. So something is going on that the speaker is not happy about. So the speaker is saying neither. So we do have neither and nor, which is fine. We have the pair here, both words. Is the sentence actually balanced? Yes, it is. Because it says your nonsense nor his. His here, the word nonsense, it's implied. Here actually means his nonsense. So it's not written, but it is implied. We have the possessive adjective here, your, meaning the nonsense belongs to you, nor his means the nonsense belongs to him. So this is balanced. I'd rather be home than be here. So we do have the pair here, rather than. Be home. So be, we have be here, and we have be here. And then home is a location. Here is a location. So it's balanced. It's parallel. Conjunction asks the question, what is joined? Are the joined parts equal? These are questions that will help us to identify conjunctions in sentences or in a paragraph or whatever you're reading. So let's look at some examples. I like toast with honey and cheese. I enjoy the combination of slightly sweet and salty foods. I'm not a fan of tea nor coffee, so I would have a cup of steaming hot orange juice. Sometimes I'm not sure whether to drink hot juice or to have hot soup. So here we have toast with honey and cheese. Let's break this down. Let's ask some questions and discover the conjunctions in this story. What is joined? I like toast with honey and cheese. So we have something joined here. And so we have honey and cheese. Honey is noun and cheese is noun. So here, honey, cheese. They're both nouns. Can we find anything else that's joined? I enjoy the combination of slightly sweet and salty foods. So we have sweet foods and we have salty foods. And then we have the word and here. So we have adjectives here. We have sweet and salty. Sweet and salty. So those are adjectives. Down here we saw noun and we saw verb. Now we're actually seeing adjective. I'm not a fan of, we have tea nor coffee. Tea, coffee. So these are actually nouns too, right? Tea, coffee, and we have nor in between. So we have nor. Tea nor coffee. They are nouns. Tea and coffee. Those are the elements. Join elements of the same. Tea, coffee. Same thing here. Sweet, salty, which are adjectives. Honey, cheese. They are nouns. Let's go on. I'm not a fan of tea nor coffee. That's an entire clause right there. Because we have a long sentence here. Because we have a subject. I'm not. That's the verb. So we do have a subject and we do have a predicate. Like here. Because this can stand alone. It makes sense on its own. I am not a fan of tea nor coffee. Means when you're not a fan of something, it means you don't like something. So this person is saying they don't like tea nor coffee. Here we have another clause. I would have this. So I is the subject. Would have is the verb. So all of this would be the predicate. But we have the word so before this clause. So I would have a cup of steaming hot orange juice. It cannot stand alone. So it's a dependent clause. Which one is that? Subordinating conjunction. That's what we have there. Subordinating. We have an independent clause. I am not a fan of tea nor coffee. Joined to dependent clause, which is so I would have a cup of steaming hot orange juice. Sometimes I am not sure whether to drink hot juice. Okay, so we do have, here's a clause, but then we don't have another clause. Do you see that? So it's not subordinate because we don't have two clauses. Correlative is happening here. And the combination is going to be based on what we have up here, whether or. We can go with this, whether or. Let's see if this is parallel. Well, we can see it has both words, whether or. So that's good. Do they have equal parts? To drink hot juice, to have hot soup. So they're parallel because we have an infinitive here, we have an infinitive here, and we have hot juice, and we have hot soup. So this is quite balanced. If we didn't have hot, would that be okay? Yes, it would be okay because we have noun, and we have infinitive before them, and we do have the pair of correlative conjunction. Correlative, parallel, to drink hot juice or to have hot soup. And then the word whether puts some uncertainty. Person is not sure if they should drink hot juice or if they should have hot soup. To have means to eat in this context. It doesn't mean possession. And our last part of speech, interjection. Interjection is a word, for example, wow, or phrase, oh snap. And what's the job? It expresses feeling or reacts to a situation and often stands alone. It can work by itself. It does not affect the grammar of a sentence. Why? Because it stands by itself. It is followed by an exclamation mark, and that exclamation mark shows strong emotion. Sometimes it's followed by a comma, and that shows that it's a mild emotion. And we'll see examples as we go along. Some quick clues about interjection. Let's look at the kinds or the categories of interjections. We have social, used for greetings and partings. Partings means goodbyes. So we can say hello, hi, hi Clint. I wanted to notice this. Hi, comma, Clint is the formal way of writing it. Or we could have it informally. Hi, Clint. And this is very common. In this case, the man's name is Clint, right? Hi, Clint. It's informal. You see this a lot in text messages to your family, to your friends. Formally, you would put a comma and then the person's name. For example, like this: good morning, Dr. Cottrell. So you have the good morning, which is the greeting, comma, then the person's name, and then an exclamation mark. Bye, exclamation mark, or goodbye. Example: hello, how are you? Bye, see you. Words in green. Those are the interjections. Good morning, Dr. Cottrell. Have a nice day. Interjections show happiness or joy. They express emotional responses. Yay! Hooray! Woohoo! Used in sentences. Hooray! We are the new champions. Woohoo! Hesitation shows a thought process like, uh, um, uh, hmm, hmm. It might rain today. This one has a comma. Surprise or shock, used in unexpected trouble. Wow. Oh. Oh no. Yikes. Gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My phone fell into the toilet. Oh no. Yikes. That's the response. What are mishaps? Mishaps are mistakes or accidents used in accidental situations. Ouch. Rats. Oops. Oh, snap. In a sentence, oh, snap. Her shoe heel just broke. Rats. That's not a good situation right there. Emergency, used in urgent alert or alarm situations. Help! Fire! Thief! Danger! Code red! Code blue! Thief! Get away from me! Somebody help! It's very urgent. This person is in trouble. This person could just shout, thief! Help! Those interjections would be okay by themselves. Something urgent is happening. There is danger. There is a problem. A nurse scream, Code blue, ER bed 10. It means in the emergency room, bed number 10, they're having code blue. Somebody's dying. So that's a very serious situation. That's an emergency. Interjections can also be used in frustrating situations to show anger or frustration. Somebody might say, nonsense, rubbish, ugh. So this person is saying, such nonsense. I was on hold on the phone for 45 minutes. Ugh. They're just really upset because they had to be holding on the phone for 45 minutes. That's a long time. Responses to situations used in various situations. Okay, no exclamation. Huh? Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mom's in a bad mood this morning. Okay. Is it because of insomnia again? Maybe she didn't have a good night's rest. Delicious food expresses responses of contentment and pleasure. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Yummy. Yum. Oh. Ah. Wow. Divine. So these are just individual words that express that this person is contented with food. The soup is delicious. Yummy. Interjections use the questions, what feeling is expressed? Hello, Sam. What feeling is expressed here? Hello, Sam. Social. This is more a reaction than a feeling. Yay, my son got a high TOEFL score. So what kind of feeling is expressed here? She's happy, right? So that sounds like happiness and joy. Let's look at another sentence. We shouldn't buy a new car now. The interjection is but notice it has a comma. It's a mild emotion. When they have exclamation marks, they're strong emotions. But here it's a comma, so it's a mild emotion. What kind of feeling is it expressing? Or what kind of reaction is it expressing? Hesitation. This person stopped and is actually thinking, should we buy a new car at this time? Let's do one more. Rats. I lost my keys. What is the interjection? Rats. It has an exclamation mark, which is saying it's a strong emotion. Which one does this fall under? This is a mishap or an accident. So this is how you would identify interjections. Now, here is your practice exercise. You have 18 questions. Let's work on a few of these together. Practice exercise. For each question, identify the part of speech of the bolded word by choosing from noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, interjection. And then you're going to state its job in the sentence. Let's do number one together. They often eat dinner together. So the word that's bolded is often. We have to decide which part of speech is often. If you say adverb, I agree. It's the adverb of frequency. State its job in the sentence. What it's actually doing is telling us how often they eat. Your words don't have to match my words. If you said it's an adverb and it shows frequency, that would be okay too, right? As long as you can identify which part of speech the word is and you can say something about what the word does in the sentence, that is fine, right? Okay. Let's do number 5 together. The cat is under the table. Under, the word under. What part of speech is under? Under is a preposition, right? It's showing the position of the cat. So it's showing position and it's also showing that there's a noun that follows the preposition. The cat is under the table. Let's do number 7 together. These logs are heavy. These are logs. One log, more than one logs. These logs are heavy. What can we say about logs? If you said noun, I agree. What else could we say? Maybe we could say it's plural, right? It's plural. That's takes the S. Let's do number 13 together. Ouch! I stubbed my toe against the chair leg. See, here, he stubbed his toe against the chair leg. So when you stub your toe, you hit your toe. You accidentally hit your toe. Ow, poor man. You can hear he stubbed his toe. Boom. You heard that. It's an interjection. And it expresses mishap. I agree. Totally agree. Let's do one more, one last one. How about number 16? The children are happy. Are. What part of speech is are? It's a verb. Very good. It's a verb. It's a form of be. It's a form of be. You now have an idea how to answer the questions. So at this point, you can pause the video and complete the exercise. When you're finished, press play to see your answers. Okay? Here are your answers. Did you get them right? Let me know in the comments how you did. Which ones were easy for you? Which ones were difficult? And as usual, at the end of the video, write in the comments the last sound you hear in this video. See you in the next lesson. Bye.